It's a pleasure and an honor for the College of Architecture to be a part of this and to be a partner of the UP Mountaineers in this green endeavor. I hope you do not mind if I'm the only speaker carrying notes due to old age. No, actually, I've been giving this type of lecture for maybe 4 years already, and since I was required to condense everything in 10 or so minutes, I felt that I have to write keywords so that I will not stray and use up 1.5 hours to deliver this lecture. I usually start this lecture with this picture. It's a picture of a relative's house in Magsingal, Ilocos Sur. This used to be a grand aunt's house. Before it was of nipa and bamboo, but when we returned a few years later, we were surprised that that nipa and bamboo house is now this concrete house done in the Mediterranean style. And we were also surprised that we were entertained with snacks and coffee, not inside the house, but under the tree right there. My mom is the one whose back is turned toward us, and the guy in blue is my brother. So we live, no, not they live. They don't live under the tree, but they spend most of their waking hours under that tree. They cook under the tree, they eat under the tree, etc. So the house is just there for show. It's just meant to tell the neighbors that, well, we have a concrete house, our children have graduated, they're professionals now, and so we can afford a concrete house. A Mediterranean house, in fact. So in a way, it's like you have a wasted resource there. It's a house not being lived in, but just being for show, okay? And so if you talk about wasted resources, it goes against the concept of being green. And I'm here to sort of demystify the common notion of what green architecture is. It's not, well, maybe for those of you who are not architects or coming from the UP College of Architecture, maybe you would think that green is just something that you apply and then you are green. It's like clothes that you wear and then you're green. It's not. Green means reducing your environmental impact. When you want to reduce your environmental impact, that means you want to conserve resources because you want to have something left for the next generation. And so that is what green means, actually. And so if you look at the things that are the words in yellow, they are action words, and therefore they are more addressed to behaviors and not to technology, not to things. Next. Know what this car is? It's the Toyota Prius, okay? It's the green thing now. It's the green car. It's a hybrid car because it uses electricity and gas, so you can mix. You can choose from either using electricity or gas. This this house here is marketed as a greenhouse. It employs so much green technology, and therefore it's green. Actually, it's not, because if you look beyond the advertisements there, like cisterns, solar water heating, solar panels, etc., you will sort of gloss over the fact that it is a very big house lived in by 4 people only. And so, in a way, it's like a waste of resource because you have a very big house and only 4 people are using it. This is what is called the Prius effect. It was coined, that phrase was coined by Peter Wood and Henry Skates. The Prius effect is the desire to appear and feel hopeful about the world, even if one's actual impact on the earth is detrimental. The Prius effect replaces guilt with hope. So many of us are actually just employing the Prius effect when you say, I want a green house, I want green architecture. It is not as simple as just buying a solar panel and installing it. It is not as simple as buying compact fluorescent lamps, but you use it 24 hours a day, even if you don't need it. That is just the pre-use effect. Locally, we have ecotourism has been a buzzword now, and it's supposed to be the green thing in tourism. So this is an example of a hotel that is marketed as being a mover in ecotourism. Inside, you will see the hotel room with the ubiquitous air conditioning. A study was made before saying that among tourists from temperate countries vacationing in the tropics, the anecdote goes, the researcher said, how do you find the tropics here? It's so hot, but did you enjoy it? Yeah. So, in fact, tourists come to the tropics to enjoy the climate because it's so different from the temperate region. And so when they come to the tropics, like the Philippines, they want to enjoy the climate. They want to bathe in the sun. They want to perspire. They want to, suck in all of it. And then you provide a hotel that blocks everything out and gives you a 19 degrees Celsius temperature, which they are tired of already. So in a way, the ecotourism is not, says a bad thing about the first phrase, eco, the ecology of it. Next. So let's talk about the architecture in green architecture. Architecture usually connotes shelter, and shelter is actually a response to climate. Okay? So let's talk about climate. I'm showing you the climatological normals of Manila and Rome. Just press it, one more. In Manila, it's characterized by a very hot temperature ranging from 34 to a low of 22, as opposed to Rome. Their high is our low. They have a high temperature of 22, which is our low. They have a low temperature of around 3 degrees only. Both are humid. Why? Because Italy is also an archipelago. And however, the difference there is that in terms of rainfall, we receive a total rainfall of more than 2 meters of rain a year, whereas in Rome, they only receive less than 1 meter of rain a year. Since architecture is a response to climate, these are the houses that are typical of both countries. In Rome, you have a house, this is the typical Mediterranean house. You have a house with big walls and small windows. As opposed to the Philippines, you have a house with big windows, sparse walls, and actually big roofs. The big roof is meant to shield the wall from the sun. You want to protect your wall from the sun, and your walls are made of light material so that it does not absorb heat. In Rome, you want the wall to absorb the heat so that it will emit heat at night when it is needed. It stores the heat and then it emits it at night. So in winter or in the cold night, it emits heat, so it makes it comfortable. In the Philippines, you don't need that. Okay. So why build a Mediterranean house in Santa Rosa, Laguna? It's absurd. And so the owner of this house will eventually move in and find out that the house is not livable because it's in the tropics, it's the wrong response. And so the owner will probably put in air conditioning, and to save on electricity, they will put in solar panels. So in a way, it is still absurd because you don't need solar panels if you just learn to live with your climate. You open your windows. In the College of Architecture, we always tell our students, if it's not needed, you may not open the lights because all you need is open the windows and then the natural free light will flow and there you go. Okay, next. We fail to appreciate our climate. I think we should be teaching this in the Philippines. It is because of our humid environment that we owe our supple and youthful-looking skin to humidity. Okay, we have a very livable climate such that it is very possible to live outdoors year-round, okay? And so this is another picture of us doing the rounds among our relatives in the province, and look, we're outside the house. We're not inside, we're outside, and it's very livable. So if it's so livable outside, you just stay under the shade. So why do you need houses in the first place? So in 2009, we conducted a study entitled The Meaning of Houses. In that study, we found out that the house is more than just a structure, but it is a setting of human interaction with the environment and other humans. A house is experienced inside first and then outside. And so you do not need, also this study has more effect on architecture, because in architecture we are taught to design the form first, or almost equally as important as the interior, when in fact people value the interior, the interior environment more than the form. When we ask them what they find useful or what they like about their houses, the words style or form hardly figured in their responses. So they never thought of, what do you like about your house? They never said, it's because it's Mediterranean. No. They say it's livable, it's comfortable. It's because we can converse with, the family is there together, is happy inside the house. That is what we like about our house. It's the family, it's the interactions, it's what it affords living inside the house that they like about it. And so, let me check my notes. What am I about to say? And so, you tend to focus on the social dimension of a house rather than just the physical dimension. And so, I come to the gist of my presentation. Green architecture should be properly rooted, and which is why it's entitled brown. The roots of green architecture should be rooted in culture and in climate. And having said that, you now see that green architecture is relative. You cannot have the green architecture of the US is different from the green architecture here. It should be different. The green architecture of Europe should be different from our green architecture. And this is why we need to be aware of this. It's really nonsensical to adapt the rating system of another country, because that was developed for their own country, not for ours. Okay, next. So again, we go back to the two pictures. It is possible to have fun in green architecture. In fact, if you want to modernize the Roman house, you still can, and still retain its character and retain its value in terms of the environment. That one is the modern interpretation of a house, of that house with big windows. Those are operable windows, by the way. They're not just fixed windows. And so green architecture can be fun as long as you know how to value it and how to root architecture in your culture and with climate. So I hope this short lecture would make you appreciate our climate more. It's not about, it's sometimes when I think about climate change, sometimes I go to the conclusion that climate change happens because of our attitude change. So maybe what we need to do now is change our attitude first so that climate change won't happen. And all we need to do is work with our climate. Thank you very much.